Alright, y'all, so y'all know what time it is. Time for another group dynamics. But I told y'all I'm back like I never left. See, y'all ain't believe me. I gotta stay tuned, I'm telling. But anyway, y'all know what time it is. We gonna get into another group dynamics video. Hey, group dynamics video. Hey. Y'all know what time it is. I don't really wanna go. I don't really wanna stay. Go ahead, y'all. It's can we get it? Oh, give it to him. Get it to Oh, I hear you. When I really is can we? Hey. Y'all know what time it is. Where my girls at? From the front to back and the juke and the net. Why not? Can you repeat that? You tryna take my man? See, I don't need that. So don't play yourself. Oh my girl, hey, 90s babies know what time it is. Hey, and I hate the way you move and the way you do your thing. Cause hey, on my mind, think about you all the thinking 90s babies. Hey, if you can, then I want to. Hey, y'all know what time it is. We gotta get into that 702 group dynamics. Y'all know I had to get y'all something. Yeah, I know I had to get y'all some, or it just wouldn't have been right. I'm just saying. But we gonna get into this group dynamics video. We gonna get into 702, you feel me? Get a little 90s nostalgia going, you feel me? So we gonna get into that. Y'all know what time it is. Come on with it. Now, off the top, we got 3 members of the group. With a group that we knew, it started out a different way, but we'll get into that later. We got 3 members of the group that we know. So we got Kameelah Williams, who was the lead singer, the dark skinned one in the front, doing the singing and whatnot. That was an issue too, but we'll get into that later. So that's Kameelah, and she was born on March 8th in 1978, and that would make her a Pisces. Then next we got LeMisha and Irish Grinstead. These two were sisters, and LeMisha was born on June 10th in 1978, and Irish was born on June 2nd, 1980, and that would make them both Geminis. And remember, these are the 2 sisters in the group. So off the bat, you notice we got 3 mutable signs. That's the similarity, the common similarity. You can peep that off top. So you got some moving going on, you got some flowing going on, you got some going with the flow, you got some waves, you got some people who can't really stay still, they can't really stay put. So you got to remember that off top. But we gonna get into that. I guess just go on down the line. Now I guess we'll start from the beginning. So the group started with LeMisha, so I guess we'll start with LeMisha. So, like I said before, LeMisha was born on June 10th in 1978. So she is a Gemini, and she is the second oldest in the group. So that will put her right in the middle. Now, out of her sister, she was the oldest. So LeMisha is the one who started the group. So she was the oldest out of her sisters, and she started the group for her sisters. And then once they got signed, they had dropped her sister. Well, one of her sisters and one of her friends, and then they added Kameelah, but they kept one of her sisters, but her sister's twin got dropped in like one of her other sisters. So that's the situation. So LeMisha was initially the oldest. So once we get into the group dynamics, you're gonna see how this play out. So that's why I'm setting it up for you. So you see, she was the oldest off top, so she was running everything in the beginning when they first started with the original group, before they dropped her sisters, and then Kameelah was added. Now, once Kameelah was added, then she was the oldest. So it got sticky, but we'll get into that later. But as far as LeMisha goes, she is a Gemini. So what do we know about Geminis? We know that Gemini is an air sign. So we know that LeMisha is going to be full of ideas. She's going to like to communicate. She's going to like to, just exchange ideas. She's going to always have an opinion, always have something to say. You know what I mean? Like, flat out, it is what it is. She's going to always have something to say. This is a part of the first half of the zodiac. So, she's going to be concerned with self. She's going to have to build a foundation for herself before she can, address others. She's also going through a lot of her ideas, and the things that she communicates are going to be, not necessarily self-centered, but she doesn't necessarily have that relatability of Libra. You know what I mean? Once you get to that seventh house communication, so a lot of her ideas are not necessarily. She's not going to necessarily consider the others. She's not going to consider other people's opinions and ideas. She's going to just think how she thinks, says what she has to say, and then moves on regardless of what others think or feel, or their opinions or the reactions of others and things like that. Gemini is also ruled by Mercury, so this is going to bring some speed. This is going to bring that wit. This is going to bring that pulling pieces together factor to Gemini. So where we already have the communication, this is going to just make it quicker, speed it up, put more things together, bring more ideas together. So they're going to be able to move and shake and communicate in different ways and with different people and go in and out of conversation and bounce different ideas off of different people. And it's going to be quick. It's going to be fast. They're not necessarily going to spend time with you and have that longevity. It's just going to be quick exchange of ideas, quick exchange of with a multitude of different people. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily going to be that one-on-one or that trying to make a broader meaning or anything like that. They're just going to bring that idea together. They're going to put those pieces together and try to figure it out. And whatever they come up with, they're going to give it to the world. They're going to communicate it. But they may communicate this in a multitude of different ways. You feel me? You got to remember that mutability as well. So it's not just going to be one form of communication. It's going to be several different forms of communication. It's going to be 7 different forms of air, several different ideas going at the same time. And that Mercury just adds that speed. But with that speed also comes the ability to analyze and organize and compartmentalize and put things in certain places, and then they aren't necessarily always able to bring it together, but they're able to, understand each individual piece to be able to bring that puzzle together. So that's what Mercury is going to add to it. And they're doing this with air, so they can take an idea that they communicated with you today and the information that came from you, and they can bring it over to somebody else, and you can see how this can become an issue when they're bouncing ideas off a bunch of different people and taking what you said and taking it to other people and bringing it back, and then you see you see. But this is a Gemini thing. You see what I'm saying? They understand. I mean no harm. I'm just saying. You hear me? I was just saying. I ain't know you was going to take it like that. Not that I cared, but I didn't know. It was unknown. So you have all these ideas and you're talking to a bunch of people and you're communicating in a bunch of different ways. You're able to move in and out of spaces and different ideas and different forms of communication, and you're all over the place. And then you have that mutability. So remember that mutability is change. So you're liable to change at any given moment. Your ideas could change. Your form of communication could change. The people around you, you're just liable to change. It just is what it is. And other people around them may not necessarily understand these changes, or why they're always moving, or why they can't just sit still. You probably didn't look at a Gemini like that, like, bro, why don't you just sit the fuck down somewhere? Like, straight up. Like, you might not even said it, but you were just thinking, like, bro, did you really have to take 10 steps to get that done, bro? You know that could have been a 2-step process. Like, you know that, right? Like, you didn't have, okay, cool. You just want to do it your way? Okay, you got your idea and you just gonna go with your idea. Okay, you're not gonna let us improve on it. All right, you just talking. You just wanted to bounce that idea off me. You didn't want my input at all. You didn't want me to contribute. Okay, Gemini. All right, got you. So I'm gonna just let you talk. Take your little 10 steps and get your ideas out. And it is what it is. But this also contributed to why LeMisha, wanted to start a group to begin with. She wanted to sing to begin with. She wanted to use her voice to touch people to begin with. She wanted to be creative to begin with. She wanted to use a form of communication to reach people. You see what I'm saying? That's that air sign. It's that air in her. And now, with her being a Gemini, she just wanted to sing. So you can see that first half, that effect where she was really focused on her, and her sisters just happened to sing too, and they formed a group. So she really was focused on her singing and her ability and her communication, where she would be able to create. But then with her having those sisters and everybody doing the same thing, it just her having that natural ability to communicate and that naturally wanting to, just be around others and bounce ideas off of others, and that Mercury is going to naturally come together like, okay, my sister, you doing this, and they're air too, so it's just like a bunch of air, you know what I mean? We just bouncing ideas off each other, making stuff, creating stuff, everything moving fast, witty joke, everything, like, you know what I mean? They were having a ball, like, this is the air, they moving all over the place, Joe, and that Mercury brings that wit, that Mercury with that air, that's going to bring that wit, so they're going to be able to, like, get back with you, talk a bunch of, you know what I mean? Like, fast talking, all of that, so... Now, Iris is also a Gemini, so those same traits are going to apply to her. Where the two will differ will be when the dynamic of them, one being oldest, one being the youngest, comes in, and then she's a twin as well, which makes sense because she's a dual Gemini, that duality. So she also had a twin. So Iris had a twin. She came in as a twin. She came in with that duality. So that's something I also consider when we talk about. And her twin was actually put out of the group, but with her being a mutable sign, and with her having her son in that first half of the zodiac, it's like you're still going to be concerned with self. You're still going to be concerned with creating your own foundation, and with that mutability, both of the sisters, although their sisters were dropped and there were changes made, they were able to go with the flow. Remember that mutability. You always have to remember that when you think of mutable signs. So they're always going to be able to move. They're always going to be able to change. They're always going to be able to go with the flow. You see what I'm saying? So even though their sisters had to leave, they were still able to stay steadfast in what they wanted to do in their dream and things like that, because remember that first half. And now they weren't necessarily happy about these changes, but they were able to go with them. They were able to still work. They were able to still sing. They were able to still do what they wanted to do. But with LeMisha being the oldest and her having that, just being used to running things and calling the shots and things like that, that became a problem for her in the future when Kameelah came in, because then she took that role over. You see what I'm saying? She began to get all the attention. She began to be the one that everyone looked to, whereas LeMisha was that prior to. So with them being mutable and them being air, they really were able to go with the flow with them being mutable and them being air. And they were able to communicate how they felt and just keep going and keep doing what they needed to do to get the job done. You feel what I'm saying? But then once they started to feel like they weren't being appreciated, their singing wasn't being appreciated, they weren't being taken seriously, that's when it started to be a problem. When they weren't able to sing at all on the records and stuff like that, that's when it started to be a problem, because remember that first half is about the self. They need that foundation for self. They need that self. They need to be appreciated for what they have to offer. You see what I'm saying? Or it's going to be a problem. And once they saw that wasn't happening, then it became a problem. And that's when LeMisha, that Gemini, that air, that mutability, never knowing when she's going to go off, never knowing what's going to happen, what she's going to say, she went off. You see what I'm saying? But we'll get into that later. So that was part one of your 702 group dynamics video. Got to get into the sun and Gemini. We got to look at the two sisters in the group, Irish and Misha. Got to see how you know that some in Gemini, although they can be smart and they can be quick and they can be witty, those words can't get them in trouble. Their mouths can't get them in trouble. You know what I mean? Sometimes they can be a little too self-consumed and concerned with their own issues, logic, reasoning, forms of communication, and their voices being heard, as opposed to, what's best for the group. But they also can be fun, jovial, and always got something to say. Feel it good, bad, and different. So, as always, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think down below. Make sure you kick back with part 2.